Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 808 Podcast where I interview CEOs, business owners, and whoever else I feel like. 4 questions, 8 minutes and 8 seconds, because 808 looks like Bob. Let's get to it. Question number one, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yes, my name is Frank Clark. I am the CEO and managing partner of VIA Group, which is a leadership advisory and consulting firm. We've got offices in Chicago and Utah, as well as Portland, Oregon. And what we do is DE&I consulting work when it comes to leadership advisory in the C-suite. And we also do senior level executive search from a CEO all the way to a CFO to a CIO and their direct reports for the Fortune 1000 throughout the United States and North America.
Love it, Frank. Full disclaimer, we are not related. There we go.
We are not.
There we go. Question number two, what advice do you want to share? Go for it.
You know, the advice that I would share is those that aspire to be a senior executive and or boardroom member of a public or privately held company, I would advise you a couple things, particularly those that have a DE&I profile, meaning a diverse candidate. What I would recommend is the following. One, be narrow and deep in something when it comes to your business, meaning be narrow and deep in sales, be narrow and deep in marketing, be narrow and deep in finance, be narrow and deep in operations. Become an expert, a subject matter expert in something in one of those work streams, because that will certainly separate you from the competition, because you truly will be a subject matter expert in that space. The other thing that I would advise is develop really strong, meaningful relationships along your journey as relates to the executive walk and journey that you're taking. Develop meaningful relationships, relationships where people will say, hey, Frank and Bob are great at what they do. They're outstanding people. They have tremendous work ethic. And by the way, they deliver results. You want those kind of relationships along the way, because that certainly will help you as you aspire to be in the C-suite. And the last thing that I would tell you to do when it comes to counsel is perform, perform, perform. Nothing replaces performance. Before you even think about becoming a senior executive and you're in your early stages of your journey, you must perform. And I mean perform at 120, 130% year over year, because that too will separate you from the fray. And you'll look up in 15, 20 years, you'll be well positioned because of your performance, because of your relationships, to really become a C-suite executive, as well as a board of directors, prospect, and perhaps member.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's say someone just got out of college and they want to start building those relationships. So what are some steps that they can take instead of just talk to people? Like, walk me through that a little bit.
Sure, sure. Right out of college, what I would recommend people do is develop relationships with 2 or 3 people in your company. Not your direct boss, by the way, because that can become uncomfortable when it comes to a mentoring and perhaps even sponsorship relationship. So develop relationships with people maybe in other departments that you look up to and that you want to aspire some of those characteristics: work ethic, expertise, the way they communicate, whatever it may be that's appealing to you, that you want to emulate.
Right.
Develop relationships with people like that. And then the other thing that I would recommend is not just a relationship, but then take it to the level where they become a sponsor. A sponsor is different than a mentor. A mentor is the one that kind of coaches you, tells you what you're doing well, tells you what you need to improve on, gives you insights. But a sponsor is someone that's influential in the company. And it's also someone that can actually walk your paper, if you will, your paper being your profile of what you deliver, what your results have been, who you are, into the right rooms. So get a sponsor as well as have relationships. That combination certainly will accelerate your success.
Perfect. Love it there. Let's get to question number 3. What other top CEOs, business owners, or influencers that you know that are successful like you that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd love to get a shout out to my good business friend, Sharina May Edwards, who's the CEO of Intren, which is a utility subcontractor in Chicago. They're doing great. They're growing. And Sharina is an outstanding and remarkable leader of that company.
Perfect. I'll look her up here. Number 4, Frank, this is the final fun question.
Hmm.
Tell me about your first sale.
Yeah, that's a great story. So my first sale was I graduated from college with a Bachelor of Science in Economics and decided to move into sales. So I worked for a company by the name of Motorola. Back in those days, this is the early 90s, Motorola was certainly a juggernaut and one of the industry leaders in technology and communications. So I worked for Motorola in a sales capacity, had about 12 months of sales training on everything from how to write a proposal to how to do a value proposition to how to actually do presentations as well. Having said that, my first sale was a cold call on a large commercial trucking company in Indiana. And I literally had a sales car, if you will, a company sales car that I drove around Indiana. And I walked into this particular company, again, large trucking company, and asked for the owner, and he happened to be there. Spoke with him, introduced our products and services. He said, that's interesting. Why don't you leave your card? And I called him back the next day. He asked me for a proposal. I delivered a proposal to him in person. And he actually said yes within about 3 or 4 days of meeting him in a cold call. So it was exciting. It was a big sale, and it was my sale.
Did you get the check though, or the credit card right as soon as they said yes?
Got it right away.
Awesome, because I've had people tell me they said yes, and I was so excited. I told my boss, and I forgot to get the credit card. So there we go. So hey, Frank, you've got 1 minute and 41 seconds left. So we can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the books behind you or the statue. Or since the best know when to be concise and when to end, we end early. Go for it.
Yeah, I would just say one other comment, and it's back to my advisory services. When you're a diversity executive in this environment, it is key not just to perform, but also get access, right? Access and exposure to the C-suite, to the boardroom, and that access will actually open up opportunities for you that are unforeseen and some that are foreseen. So the other bit of advice that I would share with the audience is gain access. And how you do that, of course, is through those relationships. And I mentioned earlier that whole sponsorship network. So gain access, perform, and optimize those relationships. And I think you'll have a very, very successful journey in your career.
Love it. And you pulled it off. And that was 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
Right.
Why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
808 looks like Bob.
There you go. You got it there. Frank, say your website real quick.
VIAgrouppartners.com.
In the description, it's magic. Frank, thanks for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you to do. You all have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye.